Hello, my name is Dave McKenzie, and my presentation is named Equal Chance at the Dough. This is for English 3080J at Ohio University, and this video will address topics based in Chapter 3 of Rereading America, Money and Success, the Myth of Individual Opportunity. So, as an overview, we're going to be going over the myth itself, my claim, some examples that I have, like the struggles of women, Horatio Alger article, capitalist societies, and some video games. We're going to go over solution and a summary. So as I stated earlier, the myth is about money and success. And the myth says a couple things about equal opportunity, things like that. For one, the myth says that everybody has an equal opportunity. And I don't even need to provide any context for that because you've heard it yourself. This has been told to Americans for an incredibly long time by authorities, those above us, even our parents, that everybody was born with an equal opportunity. In our melting pot society, everyone should have an equal chance. Next, the myth states that hard work equals money. It says, as long as you work hard, you keep up with your job, that you're eventually going to be rich. Working hard, doing a good job, will turn you into the next Bill Gates even. But it also says as long as you keep working, for let's say a coal miner, good things will eventually come your way. That doesn't sound right. The final thing that it says is that anyone can become rich in America. And while we as Americans would love to believe that, it's just not true. We call ourselves the land of opportunity, but there's no way that any country could just say everybody's going to become rich if you come here. And that's been ingrained in Americans for as long as possible, is that anybody could make a living here. But that's simply just not true. So my position in this whole thing is that upward mobility between classes of socioeconomic capital is difficult. Those without privileges could rarely experience upward mobility. And I feel like this is a good claim because it says that upward mobility is difficult, which sadly it is. But if you have access to the privileges and resources, then you can experience upward mobility. It's just that those with poor socioeconomic capital rarely get a chance to use those resources. My first example that ties directly with my claim is Gail Robinson's and Barbara M. Nelson's article. What it basically does is follows the struggles of African American women trying to escape poverty. All these women, to escape poverty, they use education as a way to escape. They feel that education, a higher education, is the only way out of the trap of poverty. And while this is very good, like I said earlier, not everybody has access to this education. A couple problems with this article is that education isn't always cheap. There are a lot of times where people in poverty, there's no way they could get that higher education, and that's why they stay in poverty. Another thing is that cheap education usually isn't good. So if you see that somebody graduated from the local community college, okay, that's not bad. But there are some jobs where you won't have access to because you graduated from that community college. Another thing is these women don't necessarily have to learn. I know quite a few people that are getting through college just by doing the bare minimum, and they're not going to learn a thing. So, in the long run, that still hurts them when it comes time to get a job. Another thing is that they don't necessarily have to get hired. There's still something with the power elite that in a conflict society where they don't have to hire African American women for the sake of them being African American and women. It's a sad truth, that most of the time, white males are the ones that get the better jobs. And my final problem with that is that they still don't have experience. And something that I've seen people experience in the job market these days is if you see the picture, they can't get a job because they don't have experience. And then they can't get experience because they can't get a job. My second example is actually in Rereading America itself. It was the article titled Horatio Alger by Harlon L. Dalton. If you don't know Horatio Alger's works, they're all about just working hard, getting money, exactly what the myth states. It also promotes fair and equal opportunity, saying that as long as everybody puts forth a good effort, you're going to turn into the next Bill Gates. It also says people are solely based on merits. Again, hard work equals money. Of course, Dalton disagrees, saying that almost everything else could come into play. Pedigree, race, class background, gender, national origin, sexual orientation, etc. All of these things have something to play into whether you're going to get a good job or not and whether you could experience upward mobility. Something I noticed during my research was a Techville article that basically did enforce the fact that race affects job offers. If you look here, there was an unemployed black woman who pretended to be white and then all of a sudden got all sorts of job offers. And I encourage you to put it to the test. Go ahead and try to get job offers. Half of them pretend to be white, the other half pretend to be black. And then see how many job offers you get for each race you pretended to be. My third example says that capitalism has a lot to do with this whole fact that people in poverty tend to stay in poverty. Now I'm not saying that capitalism is bad. I'm just saying that it creates more poverty and it keeps people in poverty. So Robert V. Robinson states in his article that mass change to a huge structure such as capitalism is difficult. Structures can't change easily. And more importantly, your own socioeconomic status can't change easily either. And as stated earlier, this mainly has to do with capitalism and the rampant big businesses that are throughout America. My thoughts on this is that the power elite do a good job keeping the poor in poverty. The power elite is a sociological term which basically mean those in power that keep everybody else out of power. They're all united, and those that replace them are basically the same people. Marxist theories always use this as a foundation that those in power keep those not in power out of power. So this kind of goes with a Matthew effect that the rich are getting richer and the poor are still staying in poverty. This also has a lot to do with video games. Video games do a good job showing problems with society, especially since you identify with the character. Since you are the character in the game, or at least you control them, you experience the same problems as the character. So you have a better way of viewing these problems. For example, Grand Theft Auto. Those behind GTA do really know about social issues and joke about them frequently, like the American Bank of Los Santos. They say, take out a new loan. You could look rich while being poor. And Lager beer, the beer that brought the forest down. As stated, Grand Theft Auto does a really good job of showing problems that people in poverty have to face. For example, right here, drive-bys. And while this isn't a common occurrence, it still happens. Another good game to show you how to do this is Animal Crossing, because you do experience debt and poverty. Your starting house is a mere shack, you're forced to work, and then you lose your job, and you have no idea how to get money. Sadly, life isn't just about collecting shells and fish and catching them in. So a solution? I have no idea. Like stated earlier, massive structural reform is difficult. The only way we could do this is by continuing to raise awareness, and that way this problem will become remedied. So in summary, I went over the myth itself, my claims, my examples, a solution, and my summary. I have been Dave McKenzie. Thank you.